Hi everybody, welcome to TNT. It's the middle of the working week here, and today we're talking about tourism and tourism numbers. Now, there are some of you out there that don't give a toss about the tourism numbers. Time now for you to turn off, go and watch some cat videos, because the reason we're talking about it is there has been quite a lot of bad news around recently about Thailand. So let's have a look at some facts. Let's have a talk about that important driver of the Thai economy. Depending on who you talk to, depending on different reports, depending on the time of the year, tourism does contribute around about 15 to 20% of Thailand's GDP. So it is an important metric about the way that Thais put food on the table. So let's go to this article. Reported by Nation Thailand, the headline, Thailand's foreign tourist numbers fall 6% as regional competition intensifies. Now, if I had 20 baht for every YouTube video published over the last 6 months about the decline of Thailand's tourism industry, the end of Thai tourism, I'd be a rich man. The figures, whilst not necessarily terribly positive, aren't really all that bad considering all the things that have been going on. So let's dig into those numbers. Thailand's foreign tourist arrivals dropped 6% in the first 7 months of this year compared to the same period last year. These numbers from the Ministry of Tourism and Sports. And the decline comes as regional competitors, China, Japan and Vietnam, intensify their efforts to capture the lucrative tourism market. And maybe we should be throwing Malaysia in there as well. Malaysia now leading the way in Southeast Asian tourism numbers. So how's Japan doing? Well, they welcomed 21.5 million foreign tourists in the first months of this year, and that significantly exceeds Thailand's 6 month total of 16.7 million. Okay, well done Japan, but who's coming to Thailand? Well, China has reclaimed its position as Thailand's largest source market, narrowly edging out Malaysia. So these are the top 10 source markets for Thailand, and these numbers are from January up to the end of July. And China just ahead of Malaysia, then India, Russia, South Korea, the UK, US, Taiwan, Japan and Laos. And if it is one of Thailand's neighbours like Malaysia and Laos there in the top 10, then there is a certain amount of that day-to-day, day pass trade, people going over the border. And the tourism numbers might be down 6%, but here we are, despite generating 895 billion baht in revenue, this represents a 4.22% decline compared to the same time last year. So the tourism numbers might be down, but we are making just a little bit more out of each of those tourists. And a quote from the governor of the TAT, and she says, China has become both our biggest customer and most significant competitor. Many countries worldwide are dedicating substantial resources to attract Chinese tourists, while China itself is investing heavily to draw international visitors. Well, yeah, Thailand's got competition. They can't just rest on their laurels as amazing Thailand anymore. They're going to have to get out and work along with all these other competitors that are attracting tourists if Thailand wants to get its tourism numbers moving back in a positive direction. So why are people going to Japan? Well, apparently Japan's competitive advantage includes superior tourism infrastructure, convenient transportation networks and a weakened yen. Well, I have been to Japan 4 times. One of the trips in the 1990s was so I could take 3 trips on the Shinkansen, the fast train. And what about Vietnam? Well, they present an increasingly formidable challenge with its fresh image, developing infrastructure and competitive cost structure. But a bit more good news for Thailand. Domestic tourism has shown resilience. In the first 6 months of 2025, there was a 2.5% increase. So let's just finish with some stats, and this is the top 10 tourist source countries, and these numbers up to the end of April this year, and it was China, Malaysia, Russia, India, South Korea, UK, Germany, US, France and Japan. But if we compare those numbers to the first 6 months up to the end of June this year, we can see that both Malaysia and China have swapped places, and India and Russia have swapped places as well in the top 5. So apart from all the usual suspects, the usual reasons that people like to offer for Thailand's languishing tourism numbers this year, there's also been the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia, and you would imagine that's also had an effect. So these numbers from the Thailand Hotels Association, and they say in the province of Sakao, the hotel cancellations reached 100% in the border districts and 80% in nearby urban areas. And provinces like Chanthaburi and Trat mirrored this trend with 80 to 100% cancellations, including these islands, Koh Chang, 10 to 30% cancellations, Koh Mak, 20 to 30%, and Koh Kud, 50 to 80%. In total, some 4,085 room nights cancelled in border provinces. Well, for hotel operators in those provinces, a significant kick in the guts. What about the rest of Thailand? Well, it's apparently about 8,000 tourists cancelled their visits during the conflict. Chiang Mai down just over 2,000, Bangkok just under 2,000, and Chonburi, which includes Pattaya, is down 668. Lesser effect on places like Phuket and Nakhon Ratchasima. So the bottom line is our tourism numbers are down about 6% for the first 7 months of this year compared to the first 7 months of last year. Now, it's not the end of the world, and hopefully it does spur people on realising that there are competitors now who are working even harder than Thailand to attract tourists. Very interested to know where you're going for your next visit. If you do come to Thailand often, you might be reconsidering going somewhere else this year. I'd like to hear where you're heading to. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't had any cancellations related to the recent conflict. My bookings are very heavy for November, December, January, February already. And I think generally Thailand is looking forward to a fairly busy high season. But there are lessons to learn. Whether people in Thailand want to learn those lessons, well, we'll just have to see. Maybe it's time for the TAT to change gear and will change strategy if it wants people to keep coming back to Thailand in increasing numbers. I'll leave it there. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget we've got Buy Me a Coffee as well. Links in the description below. I appreciate you watching today. We'll see you next time.